Hello students, so welcome back to the channel. In this video we are going to study about the leaf. Now see, first of all, leaf is actually flat organ which is born on the stem. So this is lateral and flat organ which is having three part. This is your leaf base. This is petiole, and this is the one which is having the network of vein and veinlet. This is known as lamina. Okay, so we will say it is flat lateral structure. Then they are developing at the node. They develop at node. And they are originating from shoot apical meristem. They originate from shoot apical meristem. And their arrangement is acropetal. Acropetal means young is at the apex. And their arrangement is in acropetal manner. So acropetal manner means young is present at the apex. Is it clear? And they are the one who are having the bud in their axil. Bud is present in the axil, and such buds are known as axillary bud. See here, this is the bud which is present in the axil. Is it clear? So this is known as axillary bud. And they are the main vegetative organ for photosynthesis. Main vegetative organ for photosynthesis, because you know very well in the plants, the you can say the biological classification, according to the biological classification, if you see carefully, Whitaker, he told plants will be having only organ, they will not have organ system. Animals will have organ system. Okay, so plants are having organ which is of two types, vegetative and the reproductive organ. So vegetative organ includes root, stem, leaf, and reproductive organ includes flower. So leaf is the main vegetative organ for photosynthesis. Is it clear? Now see, once again I have drawn it, and this is an axillary bud which is present. Now one thing I just want to focus at the leaf base. I'm using blue color at the leaf base. You are finding this is a pair of structure which is known as stipule. This is the stipule which is present here. Okay, and this is obviously the swollen portion where it is attached. Petiole is attaching the lamina to the stem. This point is known as leaf base. I'm writing it here, leaf base. And this is your petiole, and this is lamina. So leaf, typical leaf consists of three parts. First is your leaf base, second is petiole, and third is lamina. Clear, beta? And this labeling you know very well. This is your axillary bud. See here, typically leaf has three parts. Leaf base is also known as hypopodium. Petiole is also known as mesopodium, and lamina is also known as epipodium. Is it clear? Now modification. Leaf base can be sheeting leaf base. So sheeting leaf base can be seen in monocot, especially grasses. Okay, grasses and banana. These are the few examples you will find sheeting leaf base. Banana is an also example of your monocot. Or it can be swollen leaf base. Now swollen condition can be because of the storage of water. If they are storing water, then we say such leaf base are your pulvinous leaf base. pulvonous leaf base. An example of pulvonous leaf base is your mimosa. Mimosa pudica is your touch me not plant. Or it can be swollen because of the food storage. And food storage example, remember onion we have already studied in the bulb case. Is it clear? Same way petiole, which is also known as mesopodium, it can be also modified. Petiole can be winged. It can be winged in citrus. It can be tendril. It can be modified into tendril in case of Nepenthes, which is known as pitcher plant. Nepenthes, which is known as pitcher plant. Or it can do the storage of food. Storage of food means phyllodes. It will do the photosynthesis and it will do storage of the food. The phyllodes is the one condition in which petiole becomes green in color. An example is your Australia acacia. Clear, Vita? Now here you try to remember. Please try to remember you have already studied phylloclade. Let me write it here for you. You have studied phylloclade. Phylloclade was main stem becoming green color. Remember in the stem part? So here phylloclade means main stem is green in color to do the work of photosynthesis. And phyllodes means petiole is becoming green in color. Please remember the difference in the spelling. Try to focus it. The student do mistake here. Up till here, I hope the concept is getting clear to you. And lamina is also known as epipodium. Now, function of petiole is to hold the lamina. Is it clear? It holds the lamina to the light so that it can expose the lamina, can do the photosynthesis, and it is also helping the lamina to flutter in the wind. So I'm writing the functions here, please. Functions of the petiole. Functions of the petiole is hold blade to light. Blade means lamina. Okay, hold blade to light. First function. Second function, you can say it is helping blade to flutter in wind and thus cooling the leaf and bringing fresh air. Flutter in wind. Who will flutter in wind? Blade means lamina. Flutter in wind and thus cooling effect is there and bringing fresh air. Lamina, which is also known as leaf blade, it is actually a green part which is having midvein. And midvein is known as midrib also. So this one green part is having, this is known as midvein. Okay, so midvein is also known as midrib. Please focus it carefully because this is the line of NCERT. Right now I'm focusing it because when they ask them the question, the student get confused. Is it clear? And this is the leaf apex. And this side is drawn now. So these are known as margins. Shape of the leaf, margin of the leaf, apex of the leaf, surface and extent of incision in lamina will varies in different leaves. Writing all the points, check carefully. Ki shape, all these points are important. Shape, margin, apex, surface of the lamina and extent of incision of lamina. All these 5 characters, they vary in different leaves. Now one more thing, please focus. What is a function of the midvein? Vein is providing, I'm just writing it here, it provide rigidity to the leaf blade. It provide rigidity to leaf blade. Means leaf blade means lamina, okay? And also act as a channel for transport of water, mineral and food. It act as a channel for transport of water, mineral and food. All these are your line of NCRT, which I have tried to make it as a point for you. I hope this topic will be very clear to you. Okay. Now see in the previous diagram right now what we saw is stipules are nothing. They are lateral appendages which are present on the either side of leaf base. Clear? They are lateral appendages which are present on the either side of leaf base. So these are your stipules. They are present this way. So if the stipule is present, such leaves are known as stipulate, and this condition is seen in family Fabaceae. But if suppose the stipules are absent, then we say X stipulate. So X stipulate means stipule is absent. I'm writing it this way. And this condition is seen in family Solanaceae and Liliaceae. Now stipules can be of different shapes, or you can say they can go for different modifications. So see one thing, they can be present as free lateral right now what I have drawn it. So they can be free lateral. If they are present as free lateral, then such conditions you can see in your cotton or China rose. And there you will find the condition which I have drawn above in the diagram. Is it clear? Or it can become as a leafy also. It can become as a leafy. So we will say foliaceous. And this condition will be seen in pea plant. It will be seen in the pea plant. Try to check the diagram carefully. This is the one I'm drawing its stem. Okay. And this is right now stipules. I'm making this a stipule which is becoming as a green leaf like. But I'm using different colors so that you can understand it properly. So it is becoming as a different this way. And this is a nodal part which you can't see actually. We cannot see it. I've drawn it. But actually you will not be able to see it. So it should be erased. So I should erase it because here only you are finding that the stipule has become the leaf-like. It is becoming leaf-like and showing the network of vein and veinlet, all these things. Bearing the leaf. This is the leaf which is present here. Sorry, I should not draw here. Wait. Yes. So foliaceous condition is seen in the pea. Now next important is it can be made into tendril also, and this is again very very important example is smilax. See the diagram. And see right now this is your stipule which is becoming into tendrils. The tendrilar stipule is present in smilax. So these are the few modifications of the stipules with respect to the competitive point. I have explained it. I hope this much topic is clear to you. Types of leaves are there. First of all, cotyledon is known as embryonic leaf. The cotyledonary leaf also known as embryonic leaf. Then green leaf is known as foliage leaf. Foliage are nothing, they are green leaf. But if suppose the leaf is responsible for reproduction, So reproductive leaf are known as sporophyll. Remember you have studied in the plant kingdom sporophyll. So reproductive leaf is known as sporophyll. Yes, protective leaf is known as a scale leaf, which is actually brown color. And its work is for protection. Now see one more thing. This is again your stem and this is your node. And right now check one, I'll draw one leaf. This is known as bract. And in the axil of which I will draw one flower. So fifth type of leaf is your bract leaf. So this green color is your bract leaf, okay? And these are the few different types of leaves which we study in the entire plant kingdom. So I'm just trying to focus it here. Ki cotyledonary leaves is there, foliage leaves is there. And if the first leaf we see, first leaf in the plant after cotyledon, then first leaf is known as profil. Is it clear? And all these types of leaf, what we study, all these types of leaf are known as phylum. So phylum is all the types of the leaves which are present on the plant, that is known as phylum. Is it clear? See leaf insertion, try to understand this is your main stem. Okay. And main stem is directly bearing the leaf. This is the main stem and main stem is bearing the leaf. The main stem is bearing the leaf, one condition. And now see next condition. I'm drawing this is the main stem. And on this main stem, you're finding the branches are there. Let us assume this is one branch, okay? And now the leaf are present on the branch. Leaves are present on the branch. Now see another third diagram. Try to understand the diagram carefully. This is your reduced stem. And this is the root which is storing the food. Let us assume this is the carrot. Okay, and now you're finding the leaf is present on the reduced discoid stem. Leaf is present on the reduced discoid stem. So depending upon where they are present, we will classify them as choline leaf. Sorry, but just one sec. This is known as choline leaf. This is known as ramal leaf. And this is known as radical leaf. Is it clear? So depending upon where they are present, are they present on the main stem? We say choline. If they are present on the branch, then we say ramal. And if they are present on the root, actually they are present on the reduced discoid stem. But they give an appearance as if they are coming from the root. So we call such leaves as radical leaf. Now see type of leaf are two types are there. Simple leaf and compound leaf. Depending upon the incision. If suppose the incision has reached to the midrib or tip of the petiole, okay, if incision has reached to the midrib or tip of the petiole, then only we say compound leaf, otherwise we say simple leaf. Try to understand through diagram. See here, this is your simple leaf. Lamina is entire, okay, there is no incision. Now see the next diagram. In this incision has started, but it is not reaching to the midrib. Understood better? Incision has started but not reached to the midrib. In the third diagram, check. The incision has started but it is not reaching to the tip of the petiole. They have not reached to the tip of the petiole. Let me use this color for the petiole. They have not reached here. Okay, this is for petiole. I'm using this color for the petiole. Try to understand. Now, but see here, see in this side, okay, check the diagram carefully, this side. The incision has reached to the midrib. Check, it has reached to the midrib. So in such case, it is known as compound leaf. Now, which type of compound leaf? It all depend upon, if you see here, incision has reached to the midrib. So this is known as pinnately compound leaf. Let me write it here. This is known as pinnately compound leaf. So compound leaf is of two types. One is pinnately compound, and see second one. Just a sec. See now, this is your petiole, okay, beta? This is tip of the petiole, and incision has reached to the tip of the petiole. The incision has reached to the tip of the petiole. Since such compound leaves are known as palmately compound. So I hope through diagram it is clear that simple leaf are those leaf in which the lamina is entire, or if incision is there, it has not reached to the midrib or to the tip of the petiole. But if it has reached, then we say, if it is reaching to the midrib, then we say pinnately compound, and if it is reaching to the tip of the petiole, then we say palmately compound. Is it clear? We are going to study types of pinnately compound leaf. So see, every time I'm drawing this, one is your petiole and this is your midrib, which was initially midrib, and this is your first time pinna formation is going on. Okay, you have to check through the diagram, then only the topic will be easy for you. Now see again the next diagram, check it carefully. Difference is that if you see in the first diagram, the leaflet, these individuals are known as leaflet. This leaflet in the first diagram is of odd number. Odd number is also known as, this is known as imperipinnate. Imperipinnate. And in the second diagram, this is even number, so this is known as peripinnate. And this is the first time incision is done, okay? This is the first incision is done. So this is a type of unipinnate. It is unipinnate. And as a result, see the diagram, this one, center one, this one which is known as a midrib, it was known as midrib. Let me use the white color. No, let me use another color. Let us use this pink color, okay, beta? So this one, now this is known as rachis. This is known as rachis here. We will not say midrib because it was known as midrib for the simple leaf, but for compound leaf, it is known as rachis. And these leaflets are known as pinna. These leaflets are known as pinna, that is why it is known as pinnately compound leaf. Now you see the board carefully. This is again, this is I'm drawing it. And this is I'm using this color for the rachis. And this is your one rachis. On this one rachis, I'm drawing now. See here, this is the midrib of the pinna. This is the midrib of the pinna. And on this midrib, I'm drawing now second time pinna. Small again leaflet. Understood, beta? I hope you are able to understand the diagram carefully. This was actually one pinna, and now this pinna is again going for dissection. This pinna is again going for dissection, means further incision, and as a result it is becoming now pinnule, next leaflet, and this leaflet is now known as pinnule. So red color in the center, this was rachis, and this green color, this is known as rachilla. And this one which I have drawn, these are now known as pinnule. The pinna has become into pinnule. Second time again the incision has been done, so this is known as bipinnate. Now again check the diagram. This is your rachis. I was using this color for the petiole. This was for rachilla. Okay, these were all rachilla, rachis and rachilla. Now again further incision, and again leaflet bone. Third time, so we will say this is tripinnate. I hope you are able to understand my diagram. Means again it is becoming into small pieces. We say it is tripinnate. It means pinnule has again gone for incision. And if suppose after this again incision occurs, then we will say decompound. So first let me do the labeling. This is known as tripinnate. And last one will be decompound, which you cannot draw it. It will be very much, too much dissection will be there. Is it clear? See the diagram carefully. If you see, this I discussed you unipinnate, but it is even number. First diagram, even number, check. It is peripinnate. And this is odd one. That is why we call it as imperipinnate. Second time, this is known as bipinnate. Third time, this is known as tripinnate. And further, it is going further and we say decompound. Let me write the list of all the examples for you here only. So first of all, if you see even number, this condition will be seen in Sesbania and it will be seen in Cassia. This condition, imperipinnate, this will be seen in the rose. It will be seen in neem also. Bipinnate will be seen in acacia. It will be seen in gulmohar. And it will be seen in mimosa. Tripinnate will be seen in moringa. And decompound will be seen in carrot and coriander. So I hope so all the types of the pinnately compound leaf, this topic will be now very easy for you after seeing this diagram also. Previously I've explained you how they were coming it. Now after seeing this pictorial, all things, I think so, topic will be very easy for you. And see here, focus carefully. They have mentioned also rachis. Okay, this they are saying leaflet or you call pinna, and again then it is going for pinnule. This first is rachis. This is known as rachilla. I also was focusing. Second time is rachilla. Third time we don't give any name. Okay. Now see same here with the type of palmately compound leaf. Okay, type of palmately compound leaf. If only one leaflet is attached to the petiole, then we say it is unifoliate. If two leaflets are attached to the tip of the petiole, then we say bifoliate. If three are attached, trifoliate, four are attached, quadrifoliate, and this is more than four, then we will say it is now multifoliate. And please, this is all these are important from the competitive point. Please learn it. Now I'll write the list of the examples here. See, unifoliate example is your lemon and orange. Bifoliate example is your Bauhinia and Ragnilidium. Trifoliate example is Oxalis and Agale. Tetrafoliate example is your Marsilia, which you have studied in your pteridophyte. And multifoliate example is your silk cotton bombex. So I hope all the topic what we discussed in this video or what you have studied in this video might be clear to you. Okay, in the next video, we'll be studying in detail with respect to the phyllotaxy and modifications of the leaf. But one thing right now, I just wanted to focus you. Ki remember the bud is present in the axil of leaf only, not in the axil of leaflet. Please learn carefully. Bud is present only in the axil of the leaf, not in the axil of leaflet. Clear, beta? Thanks for watching.